Imagine you are a multimillionaire. You walk into a Ferrari showroom, want to buy a new brand Ferrari, but unfortunately salesmen say sorry, we can't. Why? Welcome to Ferrari, the only car brand in the world that turns down billionaires. Here is why your money is completely worthless to them. See, Ferrari doesn't sell cars. They sell membership to an elite club. To them, the car is a privilege, not a product. Ferrari isn't just a car company. It's a symbol, a dream, a name that has dominated racetracks, decorated bedroom walls, and built some of the most beautiful cars the world has ever seen. In this video, we will break down 7 levels of Ferrari cars from entry to the elite. The entry level. Level 1. Ferrari 125S. Every legend has a beginning, and for Ferrari, that beginning was the 125S. Back in 1947, Enzo Ferrari finally introduced the first car to wear his own name. At first glance, the 125S looked incredibly simple compared to modern Ferraris. No giant air intakes, no aggressive aerodynamics, just clean lines and classic proportions. But underneath that elegant body was something revolutionary, a naturally aspirated 1.5-liter V12. Yes, V12. Even Ferrari's very first row-going machine refused to think small. The engine produced around 118 horsepower. That might sound tiny today, but in the late 1940s, it was enough to make this lightweight machine incredibly quick. The 125S could reach nearly 170 kilometers per hour, a remarkable number for its era. Since only 2 examples were ever built, putting a price on one today is almost impossible. If one ever appeared at auction, experts believe it could easily be worth tens of millions of dollars. Step inside, and you'll find almost nothing. Leather seats, a large steering wheel, simple gauges, no screens, no driving modes, no luxury features, just the driver, the engine, and the road. It wasn't built for comfort. It was built to prove that Ferrari belonged in the automotive world. And it worked, because that little V12 became the beginning of an empire. Level 2. Ferrari 250 GTO. If one Ferrari became the most famous, it had to be the 250 GTO. Built in the early 1960s, this wasn't just another sports car. It became the most valuable collector car on Earth. Originally, the car sold for around $18,000. Today, a well-preserved Ferrari 250 GTO can sell for more than $70 million. Some private sales have reportedly exceeded that by a huge margin. Under the long hood sat a naturally aspirated 3.0-liter V12 producing around 300 horsepower. That allowed the car to sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in roughly 6 seconds before reaching almost 280 kilometers per hour. Those numbers made it one of the fastest road cars of its generation. From the outside, the 250 GTO looked elegant. Long hood, rounded fenders, a low roof line. Every curve wasn't just beautiful. It also helped the car cut through the air. Inside, everything felt handcrafted. Premium leather. Simple aluminum switches, classic analog gauges. Nothing distracted the driver. Every detail focused on performance. Of course, driving a multi-million-dollar Ferrari today probably isn't relaxing. One tiny scratch could cost more than an entire sports car. But that hasn't stopped collectors. Because owning a 250 GTO isn't just buying a car. It's owning a piece of automotive history. Level 3. Ferrari F40. Then came a Ferrari that didn't care about luxury. It didn't care about comfort. It only cared about speed. The Ferrari F40 arrived in 1987 to celebrate Ferrari's 40th anniversary, and it quickly became one of the greatest supercars ever built. Power came from a twin-turbocharged 2.9-liter V8, producing 478 horsepower, enough to launch the F40 from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around 4.1 seconds before reaching an astonishing top speed of 324 kilometers per hour. At the time, it became the first production car capable of breaking the 320 km per hour barrier. When it was new, the F40 cost around $100,000. Today, finding one for less than $3 million is almost impossible. From the outside, everything about the F40 screamed performance. The massive rear wing, the lightweight body, the large cooling vents. Nothing existed just for style. Every panel had a purpose. Step inside, and things became even more extreme. There was almost no sound insulation, no luxury dashboard, no touchscreen, no fancy technology. Even the door panels were little more than lightweight fabric. Every kilogram Ferrari could remove, it removed. Driving the F40 wasn't easy. There were no electronic safety systems waiting to save you. No modern driver assist. Level 4. Ferrari Rama. Not every Ferrari has to look like a race car. Sometimes, it only needs to look beautiful. That's exactly what Ferrari had in mind when they introduced the Rama. Unlike the aggressive lines of the F8 or the SF90, the Rama embraced simplicity. Long hood, slim LED headlights, smooth body lines, and a design inspired by classic Italian Grand Tours. It looked elegant, but don't let that fool you. Beneath that clean exterior sat a twin-turbocharged 3.9-liter V8, producing 612 horsepower and 760 newton-meters of torque, enough to launch the Rama from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.4 seconds before reaching a top speed of around 320 kilometers per hour, starting at roughly $250,000. The Rama wasn't Ferrari's most expensive model. Step inside, and the cabin felt completely modern. Premium Italian leather wrapped nearly every surface. A large digital instrument cluster replaced traditional gauges. A vertical touchscreen controlled most of the car's functions. Even the passenger received their own display. Technology surrounded you, yet it still felt unmistakably Ferrari. Some enthusiasts wished it looked a little more aggressive. Before we start the next level, don't forget to support us by like and subscribe. Thanks. Level 5. Ferrari Purosangue. For decades, Ferrari insisted it would never build an SUV. Then, they built one, and they refused to call it an SUV. Instead, they called it the Purosangue, which means pure blood. Starting at around $100,000, the Purosangue immediately became one of the world's most exclusive luxury performance vehicles. Unlike most performance SUV, Ferrari ignored turbocharging. Instead, they installed a naturally aspirated 6.5-liter V12, producing an incredible 715 horsepower and 716 newton-meters of torque. The result was unbelievable. Despite weighing more than 2 tons, the Purosangue exploded from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in only 3.3 seconds, before reaching a top speed of more than 310 kilometers per hour. From the outside, it didn't resemble any traditional SUV. The roof sat unusually low. The rear doors opened in reverse, and every body line looked sculpted rather than bulky. It still looked like a Ferrari, just taller. Step inside, and luxury reached another level. Premium leather, carbon fiber trim for individual seats, large digital displays, a premium sound system. The Purosangue didn't replace Ferrari's sports cars. It simply welcomed an entirely new group of buyers into the brand. Level 6. Ferrari 296 GTB. The Ferrari 296 GTB changed the conversation, because for the first time in decades, a Ferrari sports car abandoned the traditional V8. Instead, the company introduced a twin-turbocharged 3.0-liter V6 working alongside an electric motor. Together, they produced an astonishing 819 horsepower, enough to launch the car from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in only 2.9 seconds, before reaching a top speed exceeding 330 kilometers per hour, with prices starting around $340,000. The 296 GTB wasn't cheap, but neither was its technology. From the outside, the design looked compact, sharp, and incredibly aerodynamic. Every vent, every curve, and every air intake served a purpose. It felt like a modern interpretation of Ferrari's greatest sports cars. Inside, the cabin looked futuristic. Carbon fiber surrounded the driver. Premium leather covered the seats. A fully digital cockpit replaced nearly every traditional button. And despite all that technology, the focus remained exactly where it should be, behind the steering wheel. Some enthusiasts were disappointed to see Ferrari move away from larger engines. But the moment they pressed the accelerator, most of those concerns disappeared. Because the 296 GTB proved one thing: performance isn't measured by the number of cylinders. It's measured by the smile it puts on your face. And we don't wanna forget the Ferrari SF90 Stradale. When Ferrari introduced the SF90 Stradale, it wasn't trying to improve on the past. It was trying to destroy expectations. This became Ferrari's first plug-in hybrid supercar, and somehow, it still felt unmistakably Ferrari. Starting at around $600,000, the SF90 immediately entered a completely different league. Behind the driver sat a twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8, working alongside 3 electric motors. Together, they produced an astonishing 986 horsepower and 800 newton-meters of torque. Those numbers transformed the SF90 into an absolute monster. Put your foot down. And the car launched from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in only 2.5 seconds. Keep accelerating. And it wouldn't stop until roughly 340 kilometers per hour. From the outside, everything looked aggressive. Large air intakes, slim LED headlights, active aerodynamic elements. Every angle served a purpose. Inside, technology completely dominated the cabin. A huge curved digital display replaced traditional gauges. A modern steering wheel featured touch-sensitive controls. Premium leather, carbon fiber, Alcantara. Everything felt futuristic. Some enthusiasts missed the simplicity of older Ferraris because the SF90 wasn't built to impress on paper. It was built to embarrass almost everything beside it. Level 7. LaFerrari. Some cars become famous, others become legends. LaFerrari became both. Released in 2013, this wasn't simply Ferrari's fastest road car. It represented everything the company had learned over decades of racing. When new, LaFerrari started at around $1.5 million. Today, finding one below $1 million is almost impossible. Some rare examples have sold for significantly more. Power came from a naturally aspirated 6.3-liter V12, paired with an electric motor. Together, they produced an incredible 950 horsepower and 900 newton-meters of torque. The numbers were almost unbelievable. LaFerrari rocketed from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 3 seconds, reached 200 kilometers per hour in less than 7 seconds, and continued toward a top speed exceeding 350 kilometers per hour. From the outside, every panel looked sculpted by the wind. Massive air channels, active aerodynamics, sharp bodywork, and proportions that made the car appear alive even while standing still. Inside, Ferrari removed anything unnecessary. Carbon fiber surrounded the cockpit. Bucket seats became part of the chassis itself. The steering wheel borrowed ideas directly from Formula One. Everything reminded you, this wasn't built for comfort. It was built for speed. Driving a LaFerrari wasn't about reaching your destination. It was about experiencing one of the greatest automotive engineering achievements ever created. And more than a decade later, it remains one of Ferrari's most celebrated masterpieces. From the humble 125S to the record-breaking 250 GTO, the raw brutality of the FRO, the elegance of the Rama, the unexpected success of the Purosang, the revolutionary 296 GTB, the futuristic SF90 Stradale, and finally, the legendary LaFerrari. Ferrari has never simply built cars. It has built dreams, machines that inspire millions of people, long before they ever sit behind the wheel. Ferrari. Everyone knows exactly what it means. So here's the question. Which Ferrari would you choose if money wasn't a problem? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. 7 levels breakdown for next videos.